Hi, I'm Michelle, and I am going to be talking about the doers. Now, I'm going to read some passages from the Eric Butterworth book, Spiritual Economics, and of course, intersperse them with some of my own experiences. Recently, I was taking a class, and the teacher said, okay, I want you to think about something this week for 10 minutes. And every time your mind starts drifting off, bring it back to what you're actually wanting to think about. What is your most important asset? Think about how you can change that into something that actually is easy to do. And so I started thinking, okay, what's something that always bothers me? And one of the things is weight. And it's weight of all kinds of things. It's personal, physical weight. It's weight of a cluttered house. It's weight of thinking I'm not enough. There's all kinds of weight that I manage to carry around with me. And I thought, what if I take this week and for 10 minutes a day, I just think about how grateful I am that I understand that my weight can be changed without retribution toward myself. How about gratitude? That's a good idea. So I started doing that. And what I found was instead of going, oh, I should do this, I should do that, I started going, hey, look at those papers. Why don't I sort them out, shred the ones I don't need, and put them in their file folders? And I did that. And I felt this amazing weight lift from me. And I looked at that part of my house and I went, this feels good. Well, I kind of got on a roll and I decided every day I would do something. And if I didn't want to, I just wouldn't. But every day I would sit for 10 minutes and I would say, am I willing to let go of any weight that I'm carrying? And I would look around and I'd go, oh, I see something that I'd like to fix. And so I would walk over and I'd fix it. And all of a sudden that area of my house was beautiful. Well, one day I found myself on my bathroom floor scrubbing the grout because I realized that I kept walking in and out of my bathroom. And every time it was like, oh, I really should scrub the grout. Oh, I really should scrub the grout. Well, I did it. Oh, yeah, it is beautiful. And every time I walk in my bathroom now, I go, oh, look at me. I have a beautiful bathroom floor, and I scrub the grout. So that was an example of weight. And I have often used a phrase, I don't know. Well, what does that mean? I don't know. It means I don't know. Well, I don't know what. I'll be driving in my car and I'll be thinking, so I don't know. And finally I went, you know what? I'm really tired of using that phrase. I do know. So then for a while, every time I'd say, well, I don't know, I'd go, no, wait, I do know. And if I didn't know what I didn't know, I may not know what I do know, but at least I know that I know. Okay? You follow that? So then I got to the point where I stopped saying, I don't know. I always said to myself, I do know. And all of a sudden, it just made things easier. I wasn't walking around or driving in my car condemning myself. I was saying, I do know, and the answers come because God is here. So I don't need to worry about it. I do know that. And that manifests in my life. And I have found that that has been an amazing revelation to me because every time I will start to kind of go back to that a little bit and then I'll catch myself and I'll say, I do know. Or if you're in a conversation with someone and you have this brilliant idea and you say, no, I have a great idea. Why don't you say, I have a great idea? Or yes, I have a great idea. I just thought of something amazing. As opposed to no. I'm saying yes. I'm saying yes to life. I'm saying yes to doing things. It is amazing to me how that manifests in my life. I was at a client's house the other day, and I said to her, if you have any problems, because we're having a lot of winds right now, if you have any problems, please call me day or night if things are blowing away on your patio, and I'll just come over and pick them up and put them places where they won't blow away. And she said, thank you. And, she's a great lady. I really love her a lot. And so then I got in the car, and I was driving away from her house, and I thought, okay, I didn't suggest money for that. I didn't need to, because I'm just offering help. That's what I wanted to do. That's what I was doing. And I thought, maybe my business practices aren't quite as financially prosperous as I need them to be. Okay. And then I thought, well, I'm going to drive into Starbucks and get a coffee. And really, since we're in a pandemic event, I don't go out much. So for me, going to take care of a client and going to Starbucks is kind of like going out. So it's very exciting. And I was in line, and I made my order, and I was thinking, oh, I don't know if I should do this. I was doubting myself. And I pulled up, and she said, the person in front of you has bought this coffee for you. And I thought, that's like saying, I do know. Instead of I don't know, I do know. And saying to my client, I want to help you, and truly meaning that, because I do want to help her, immediately came back to me, and it was less than 10 minutes. So what is your most important asset? Well, I think it's gratitude, and I think it's being open to things. And I have always, in my life, I have always found that anything I want to know, any story, always comes to me in a circle, and sometimes it takes 50 years. At one point, I went to boarding school in Michigan when I was 14. And when I was 17, I was going to graduate, and, I had a class ring. I lived in San Francisco. The boarding school was in Michigan. And I lost my class ring, and I was devastated, and my mother was not happy. And I always knew somehow that it was still there, but I didn't worry about it, because, it's San Francisco, and it was gone. Well, about 10 years later, when I was in my 20s, I was at a show that I wasn't supposed to be over at that show, but it happened that I did go that night. It was in Berkeley. I still lived in San Francisco. Someone walked up to me, and she said, are you Mickey Gillette? And I said, yes. And she said, well, I'm so-and-so, and she had moved to Berkeley from the Midwest. They were in this area of the city where a lot of artists congregated, because she was an artist and she had a studio there. And she said, I found your class ring. And I went, okay, where'd you find it? And she said, it was in the gutter at Union Square in San Francisco. Okay, so my ring had come back to me. And things like that happen to me all the time, because I really trust God and say, I love those stories. I love having those things happen in my life. And instead of thinking of it as something I don't have, it's something I do have. But I don't know when the result is going to happen, but that's okay. When I ask for something or I desire something, I just put that in my heart, and I give the result, I give the means to God, and it always happens. And we're not always used to doing that, but that is how it works. And this is a good example from Eric Butterworth. An English couple was visiting New York City for the first time. They came with some apprehension, because they had been conditioned with a vision of a sordid and crime-ridden city. Their host thoughtfully took them first to the observation deck of one of the city's highest buildings so they could get a lofty overview. It was a beautiful, clear day, and they could see forever. The visitors were delighted and surprised, giving them a very positive initial reaction. Later, in a tour of the city, the man remarked that he could not forget the view from the top. They had a wonderful week-long stay and left singing the praises of the loveliest, friendliest, and finest place we have ever been, all because of the initial high-level perspective. It is a powerful insight to live by. Always get the view from the top. Before you react in negativity to people, conditions, or things, take a moment to lift up your eyes unto the hills. Contemplate all the changing, challenging experiences from the highest point of view. Regardless of the appearances of conflicts or limitations, see all things from the awareness of the allness of life and the ever-presence of substance. From the view from the top, you will see things creatively, leading to an attitude that is constructive and optimistic. To pray for prosperity out of a sense of complaint or discouragement is to effectively compound the problem. The grateful heart draws to itself great things. Theodore Roosevelt used to say, "Do what you can with what you have right where you are." So begin not with subtle resistance for what you do not have, but with what you have. Remember that in truth, there is abundance in all things, so give thanks. So I invite you this week to take 10 minutes. Think of something that you would desire to happen. Make up a mantra about it or put it in a couple of words. Write it down and sit for 10 minutes and just think about what you desire. I am willing to let the weight go in all ways. I think you're going to be really surprised. Divine Spirit loves to give goodness and kindness in the results. And we know that God is. And God is here and God is now. And for the blessings of being able to share this lesson with you, I am grateful. And I say namaste.